Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Clutch here with another video back on the trade recaps for the day. Amazing day today, right? Perfect executions all across the board, perfect price action. If you watched the previous videos, you know I did mention, prior FOMC and big earnings, price action can be kind of wonky. So, I mean, as you can see here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we really did nothing, right? Small little plays here and there. Nothing too crazy though. But now that we had FOMC and earnings out the way, we kind of let the market settle, kind of digest those news, digest the earnings, and just watch and execute, right? So we had perfect risk on day to day, risk on. Can't be scared to put some risk on a clear trend day, right? So I do want to cover a few plays that we took today. Hopefully it helps you guys with some analysis behind it, why I took them, why we added, and why we held price targets and whatnot, right? So first play of the day that we actually took, we actually swung this from yesterday. So Tesla. Let me move this because I had this marked here. Tesla, right? Tesla was a beautiful play. We've been holding this demand for so long. Finally broke out this falling wedge. My fault. Broke out of it, came down, retested. Finally closed above this trigger today. So this actually looks good for continuation tomorrow. Above 386, we should probably get a push into the 400s. Obviously, you want to trim around 390, then 400 and 410 area, right? We're still below this big supply, so you have to keep that in mind. Right? We break through that, we should see that squeeze. Nice daily candle closure today, but let's talk about why I took this play, why I swung it, and why we added where we added. Right. So first of all, I was on the Tesla hourly time frame. Let me turn off my VWAP. Tesla hourly time frame. As you can see here, right, the little falling wedge, and we actually have nice little shout out to my boy Sugi. He dropped this little chart on Tesla today, which actually gave me more confidence in executing more. All right, so Tesla had this trend line on the 4 hour. Right, we clearly broke out of it. 376.4 was the breakout, which is yesterday's high. Right, the first green line is yesterday's high. I was also watching this on the hourly, which this trend line doesn't correlate with me on the hourly, so I kind of just got rid of it. But I was also watching, this little area of resistance, right? I'm gonna mark it white, right? This 375. First of all, we did have this little inverse head and shoulders setting up. It's setting up on hourly, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and neckline somewhere around this area, right? 386 should clear us to go much higher. But if not, tomorrow we can watch the retest and then go, or we can watch the break at 386 and then go. So Tesla. Watching this morning, right? We dealt with some drawdown. Broke this little level right here, right? Yesterday's lows. So I was watching this very closely. As SPY was kind of doing the same thing. A lot of bullish flow on Tesla. So once we actually reclaimed this opening high candle, I guess you can call it the orb, right? So once we actually reclaimed the 200 MA, which is what I use for day trading, we claimed above VWAP. So I was actually on the 5-minute time frame on VWAP. We reclaimed it, nice volume, triggered here. So we ended up adding on the trigger, right? Stop loss is always below. That key level 370, and honestly this was the better trigger, right? This is the candle that closed above it, so we closed above the 200 MA right here, and this one had the rising volume, and then we broke pre-market highs. We broke that 375 area, right? We've been stuck in this 375 area and 370, and then that was all she wrote, right? We added, held our contracts, watched the retest, popped, trimmed some here, and then we just held. As long as we were holding above previous high day, this 376.4, we held into our second price target, right? 383 was the big breakout, right? we kind of reclaimed this level. Obviously, we didn't close above it. So as soon as we broke above it and we got back under, I did trim and I left basically free runners. It was a pretty heavy size play, right? Had a risk on all day, right? Risk on. So I did swing 2 free runners. Let's see what it does tomorrow. We either retest or if she goes, they will print nicely, right? But yeah, that was it on Tesla. Now SPY was crazy today, right? So SPY had these pre-market lows, right? 710.6. I did see, the video was falling all day, so I was kind of just being cautious with SPY and Qs. Since the video was just, it was just a free fall. I mean, if you look at this chart and you look at the video, which usually kind of, gives you the the direction of the market sometimes, but man, I missed this trade. This is a beautiful trade. This was on the trade ideas, y'all. First, I was watching this breakout. Right, I was watching this breakout this morning. I saw we were kind of breaking pre-market, so I was watching for a break of 212 to go long back into these highs. And obviously, on the trade ideas yesterday too, I posted, hey, this can go above 212, we go long, or below 207, we go short back into this area of demand, which we actually broke below it, but we're still in some areas of demand, some kind of weakness here on the video. But this was a perfect breakdown, right? Perfect breakdown of demand turned into resistance. We didn't get to retest. So now what we can watch for tomorrow is if we get a retest here and it holds below it, right, we go short, right? That's one of the things we can watch. Or if we can reclaim here, go long into that. Or if you want to wait for this 207 to reclaim, then you go long into 212, and then above 212, we go much higher, right? So pretty simple game plans on NVIDIA. And let's talk about SPY now. This was the bangers of the day, right? Banger of the day. Took SPX, took SPY, took everything, right? I was heavy in SPY and, executing as it went on, right? Followed my levels, trusted the levels. But yeah, I mean, if you watch the videos from the last session, I said, above 712.50, this is where we can go long, right? Below that, you can kind of just watch. Below 709 is where you short. Watch for the fake breakdowns and reclaims or fake breakouts, and you could really trade it either way, whatever style fits better. All right, so for me today, what I was watching is, man, we actually had a nice little entry right here, right? We took calls here as soon as it started to reclaim. It was about 25%. Unfortunately, the 0 DTs on this candle, they went 25%, and then we put a stop loss break even, stopped us out at break even, right? We needed that reclaim, right? We need to get back above that level for it to fully reclaim, right? So kind of just watched, executed on Tesla first. Then as soon as SPY started reclaiming here, we got back in, right? We got back in SPY. We did 1 DTEs this time. I grabbed a few SPX and SPY 0 DTEs, just for fun. But my main focus was put size on the 1 DTEs and hold them as long as I can, right? Follow the game plan. There's less stress when you buy time. There's less stress because imagine if we chopped all day, then we'd be kind of screwed, right? Going forward, we took the calls here. We went up into this was supply, right? This was not a green box. Right, my target was pre-market highs and all-time highs, and they were kind enough to give us a lot more higher, right? That was very kind of the market makers today, right? But let's talk about why I trimmed, right? We entered on a reclaim, right? We entered on the reclaim, trimmed here at 714.50. Why? There's a lot of supply in this area, right? Let's go to the hourly chart. There's a lot of supply, right? A lot of supply here, right? So it's smart for us to trim in this area, right? Because who knows? We could always just possibly reject, right? So we got to that area. I trimmed. It was about 40% on the 1 DTEs and about 100% on SPX. And then ultimately, she broke it, right? She broke it, retested that same level. So now once we broke above it and held, with rising volume here, this turns into demand, correct? So I hope you guys are enjoying this analysis, and I'm not wasting my time because I hope this helps you guys out with the levels I use and things like that, right? So yeah, we reclaimed here. We broke it, held it, retested, pushed higher, retested again, and we kind of just made this little flag here, right? Weird looking flag. I don't know if that counts right there, but we broke this little trend line right here, right? We broke this little trend line. We target that previous all-time high, right? So if we go to regular hours, this first green line right here, 715.63 is previous all-time highs on spot, right? So that's first price target, right? After breaking that level, that's first price target. Once you break it and hold, you can actually buy some more, right? So we broke it here, retested and held here, and then we had that nice little push, right? So we actually bought more SPX on this breakout. Then after that, we targeted these after hours highs on SPY, which is 716.50 basically, and the rest was history, right? We tried to hold as long as possible into possibly 720. We came very, very short of 720 today. Our contracts did do about 250%, which is awesome. We ended up leaving just a runner for fun and whatnot. But yeah, we're about 20 cents off here on SPY from 720. And now let's look at SPX. This is about the same thing, right? Told everybody, hey, below 71.57, we could short it back into this little demand area, or above 71.77, we could target this all-time high breakout, right? This was all-time highs on SPX. So once she actually broke here, we actually took calls and we targeted that 7,200. Right, they were nice enough to give us a little bit more, but these contracts actually ended up doing about 1,100%, which was crazy, right? Crazy work. So that's all for the place we took today. If you ever guys have any questions, just always drop a comment below. I hope this analysis kind of helps you. I'll probably try to do maybe a trade idea video tonight, but I'm going to the movie, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to. But if not, I'll drop one Sunday for sure. And yeah, let me know what else you guys want to see. And I'll catch y'all next time, y'all. Peace.